Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. BedirKM2 here. Today we are going to talk about some tanks in World of Tanks that look useful, seem worth the money, and give you the illusion of being good. But in reality, they are completely useless, overhyped, and designed to mislead players. So, at the first glance, you may think this can be useful, but in reality, they have nothing to offer. So, no need to waste any more time. Let's jump straight into our first tank. The Lowe is a tank with genuine historical depth, and in World of Tanks it appears to stand out thanks to its high credit earning coefficient. On paper it's one of the best premium tanks for farming credits, but the truth, it's nothing like that. The Lowe is a heavy tank with a huge bulky hull, terrible mobility, slow turret traverse, weak armor, low penetration, and poor aiming performance. It's supposed to be a sportive heavy, but it sports absolutely nothing. You can't hide, you can't reposition, and most of the time they just hit your body or your turret. You can't even shoot back effectively. Maybe long ago it earned some credits, maybe, but today it's honestly pathetic and completely outdated. Almost nobody plays it anymore. You can barely even find recent videos about it online. All the gameplay you see is from years ago. And while tanks like the Skoda T56 can pump out 1000 damage in just a few seconds, your Lowe is sitting there dealing 180 or 200 damage and mewing like a tiny kitten despite being named the Lion. In my opinion, this tank is very weak and overrated and absolutely not worth buying. Now, let's move on to our second tank, the T-34 American Heavy Tank. Back in the old days, a long time ago, the T-110E4 was extremely powerful. The T-34 was introduced as its Tier 8 little brother, promising high penetration, a strong turret, and maybe even some credit earning potential. And sure, maybe these stats meant something 10 years ago. But here in November 2025, none of that matters anymore. The T-34 today is painfully slow, has a sluggish turret, terrible aim time, a hull that feels like it's made of cardboard, constantly eats penetrating shoots, constantly gets crew injuries and module damages. And against modern premium tanks, even its turret isn't considered strong anymore. It simply cannot keep up. Did I mention how awful the aim is? You can stare at that shrinking aim circle for hours, and your shell will still fly completely outside the circle. Sometimes you have a better chance of shooting your own backside than hitting the enemy. It's such a disappointing tank that Wargaming even gave it away for free, and still nobody plays it. Imagine that, a free premium tank, and yet it collects dust in the garage. For all these reasons, I strongly recommend staying far away from T-34. Now it's time for our third tank, the 50 TP prototype. Yes, once upon a time, this tank was actually strong. It had real armor. It hit for 450 or 500 damage, and when you met an enemy face to face, you could actually make plays. The turret was solid, the upper plate worked, and overall it felt like a respectable heavy tank. But that was in the old days. Back then, people carried only one repair kit. Back then, players waited 5 or 6 seconds just to fully aim. Nobody fired gold shells because they cost real money, so armor mattered a lot, and this tank benefited from that era. But today, its impact is literally zero. In 2025, everyone can spam high penetration premium shells. Armor means almost nothing anymore. The meta has completely shifted. Spotting is everything. Light tanks dominate vision control. Accuracy and aim time matter more than armor. And 50 TP prototype? Yeah, you simply cannot trust its armor anymore. It gets deleted like any other slow heavy. To make things worse, long reload, extremely slow mobility, terrible penetration, even the premium rounds are weak. And you know what? Many Tech 3 tanks have more penetration on their standard shells than this tank has on gold. So even when you actually hit the enemy, you still can't penetrate, and your armor doesn't save you. That's what we call game over, baby. This tank is weak, outdated, unreliable, and absolutely not worth your money. I do not recommend the 50 TP prototype at all. Now, TS5, the armored tank destroyer that somehow has no armor. Our fourth tank is American Tank Destroyer TS5. This vehicle was designed as the Tier 8 copy of the T110E3, but apparently during development they forgot to give it armor, and they also forgot to give it accuracy. Seriously, this tank is so inaccurate that if you fully aimed and fired, your shell might hit a tank camping in Karelia while you are on a completely different map. That's how wild the dispersion feels. On top of that, its armor is almost meaningless nowadays. In most matches, I end up blocking 0 shots. Even enemy shell seems to go straight in cupola. The cupola doesn't just exist, it attracts shells like a magnet. It's like some kind of dark magic. Every enemy automatically hits your cupola, and even if you aim for 8 whole seconds completely still, and you still miss. I'm not talking about bounces, directly miss. I'm talking about missing a stationary AFK tank 25 meters in front of you. So what are we left with? A tank that can't aim, can't turn, can't penetrate, can't bounce shoots. A tank that is worse than trash. So please, I'm begging you, stay away from this thing like an angel avoiding the fires of hell. And finally, our last tank, the KV-5, the Russian heavy, that's supposed to be armored. But somehow, they forget to put armor on its 2 enormous weak spots right on the front. These giant boobs, as the community calls them, get slapped around every time you face an enemy. The tank is slow, clumsy, and has terrible penetration. That alone already puts it at a disadvantage. But the real problem, this tank was designed with one selling point, only armor. Everything else, mobility, penetration, aim, handling, was sacrificed at the start. And even that one feature doesn't work anymore. With premium shells, enemies will turn your KV-5 into Swiss cheese. But even if they don't fire gold, they can simply aim at your 2 huge cupolas, almost the size of your turret, and penetrate them without even aiming properly. That's how big and easy those weak spots are. Even the TS5, our previous tank that can't hit anything, can sometimes land shots on those big boobs. Imagine how easy it is for a normal tank, a vehicle that brags about its armor, yet has 2 massive, obvious, unavoidable weak points, ends up being more of a joke than a heavy tank. Please do not trust this tank and stay away from it, my friends. So, in conclusion, stay away from these 5 tanks. Every single one of them is worse than the other. Aimless, ineffective, outdated, and simply not worth your time and money. They had their glory days long ago, but those days are over. Sure, if you really try hard, you might squeeze out a decent match once in a while, but most of the time you will be the one suffering. Don't fall for the illusion of their armor, their credit earning potential, or their nostalgia surrounding them. Don't believe their videos on YouTube or other channels or other platforms. At the end of the day, this is just a game. So if you want to try them for fun, go ahead, you can buy and you can try. And maybe you might even enjoy them. But if you check websites like Tomato GG or Battle Tanks or the others, you will see just how ineffective these tanks really are in the current meta. Thank you for watching, my friends. If you have your own suggestions or tanks you want me to review, please let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button and check out my other videos as well. And who knows, if you like the content, you might even consider subscribing to the channel. For now, thank you again and see you in the next one. Bye bye.